and we'll start off with Toast.
Stop.
What do you have for us?
I watched Tenshi-sama. It's
Good stuff.
it's made by Project Number. No, not Project Number 9. I don't know what the name. The Angel Next Door Spoils Me Rotten. That's the name.
Yes, Angel Next Door Spoils Me Not Rotten. お隣の天使様にいつの間にかダメ人間にされたいだけ. Is there a freaking? So I was actually talking with somebody in the Discord about this, and I just really fucking like you know how so many of these like light novel and like random series have like huge long names. And I think part of this was, I mean, not part of this, but it was obviously driven by the light novel and the web novel craze because there were so many like different light novels and web novels. The author started to write really long titles in order to kind of stand out, along with trying to hire the best artists so they will get the best like looking covers, right? And it's just like Japanese people also shorten these longer names so that they can memorize it or they can kind of use it quickly, right? And now, not only for us as reviewers and podcast people, not only do we have to remember the names, we also have to fucking remember these abbreviations, which is really stupid. I freaking hate this timeline because I have to memorize all these stupid abbreviations. I
What's
don't
the
even know what
abbreviation of this one? I just call it Otanari no
it
Tenshin.
has. Like, I don't even. I think it's like.
Ototen? Is that what they're gonna call it? I don't know.
No, I think it's like Otonari no I think it's Otonari no Tenshi-sama or it's like Otonari. I haven't yak sure.
Don't know.
What is it? Yeah, Otonari no Tenshi-sama. Otonari no Tenshi-sama. It's
That's
just the
why. Yeah, I
first
mean that's what
bit.
I call
Yeah.
it. All
Yeah.
right.
But sometimes it's not like that, which is really frustrating. But
But
anyways.
yeah, made by Project Number 9,
Yes.
who also did guess what? Tenshin no Sanpi.
Yes, and Rokubyu, which is like kind
Fire
of along the
Loves,
same thing.
Roku. Weren't they in a Dengetsu?
That's a very dangerous statement. I don't love Rokubyu, okay?
I don't
I
know, man.
watched it.
Didn't you also like that what is it? That dragon mahjong thing that was also similar, but it was mahjong?
Ryu no Oshigoto, right? I believe
That's
Ryu no.
Yeah.
basically Roku, but with mahjong. Also, they also did
Tenshi no Sanpi?
And You Thought There Was Never a Girl Online. That was a fun one.
Yes, they also did that one. Yeah, they've done a lot of
Oh
series
yeah.
like that.
Speaking of the Ryuo thing, they also did that. So, guess
Oh
what?
wow.
Guess what,
So
Spire?
Project Number 9 is just like the lolly like studio. Is that what we're?
I mean, they also did Make My Abilities Average.
Mhm.
Hige Hero, which is the shaving dude. That was a pretty good one. Love After World Domination. That's also a banger. And damn, they had that. And My Stepmom's Daughter Is My Ex. That was also pretty decent. So they got a good track record for some people.
For some people. Okay.
Yeah. What about this series? It's it's pretty average as well. The premise is pretty generic. As one would say, it's
Okay.
about there's a dude, there's a loner dude who wears a scarf, and he's like, he lives by himself, goes to high school by himself. He's the loner of the classroom. And then there's on the opposite end, I think in a different classroom, there's the school idol, but they call her the
Oh
angel,
baby.
Mahiro Shina, which I thought it was Mashiro Shina.
Oh,
And like Sakura
yes,
and I was like,
yes,
damn,
sir.
how dare you? But no, it's Mahiru. So they get a pass from there. But yeah, the dude's name is Amene Fujimiya. So he lives by himself in an apartment. Then one day, he's being his loner self. And one day he sees a girl sitting on a park bench in the rain without an umbrella. He's all like, oh boy, here we go. Because, the premise.
Here we go again.
The premise itself is pretty standard. It's like,
Yeah.
you see the loner dude meets the school idol in the rain, and he's like, here, why aren't you, like, shouldn't you go home? And she's like, I don't have any place to go home to. Or no, she didn't say something like that. It was like I like thinking in the rain. Well, I don't remember what she said. But at
Yeah,
the
she
end
says some
result,
depressing shit. It's yeah.
I guess. And the end result is here. I'll give you my umbrella. So he gives her umbrella, and he runs back home. But then, as is in typical Japanese media, for some reason, he gets a cold because he gave her his umbrella. So he shows up to school next day. And he's like, "Oh, I got sick," and his friend's like, "Why'd you get sick?" And he's like, "Because I gave my umbrella away." He's like, "You idiot." But yeah, so and then he tries to go home, but it's like, "Oh no, this cold is so savage. I'm going to faint in front of my door." Because apparently Japanese colds and flus are that serious. I wouldn't know.
That's why they've been screwing up the COVID emergency so badly. Is because they just like it's such a bad thing. They don't know what to do about it. They're just
I
every
don't know,
all the
man.
Japanese people are just like immediately just keel
When I
over.
had a cold, I never fainted. Like, I never fainted in front of my doorstep. I had to power through freaking gym in the morning. I was like, "Oh, I hate this." But yeah, so he stumbles his way back home, and then lo and behold, Mahiru comes to return his umbrella because apparently they're next door neighbors. Oh, get it? That's why it's called the
Okay.
angel next door. So, he she gives his umbrella back, and she's like, "Oh, why are you all shaky? Is it because you gave my umbrella?" He's like, "Yeah, I guess so." It's like whatever. Then she intrudes in because she feels bad, and she takes care of him, whatever. When he
Mhm.
wakes up, and that's how the story begins. The cliche
Okay.
umbrella in the rain. Instead of instead of finding a high school girl sitting in the sitting on a corner in the middle of the night because she was banished from her childhood, banished from her home because she ran away. Then you
Mhm.
shave and bring her home. That's the premise. Well, that's the beginning premise of how they meet. Then after that, it's a pretty much a slow burn of their relationship, how they and how it progresses after that. And I gotta say, this is probably one of the better slow burns to how a relationship progresses the anime in a very long time.
Well, can you
Because
specify? Yeah.
you know how let's say I'm gonna throw out Toradora, right? Opposites attract. Like, oh, here's or a Sakura, so or I don't know. What else? What else is there? How basically a series where a boy and a girl with completely opposite personalities somehow cohabituate together, and that's how the relationship progresses. Like I mean, it's pretty standard rom-com stuff, right?
Mhm.
How you got two people with two different personalities. In this one, they both have very similar personalities, so in a weird way, they kind of mesh together.
They act reasonably around each other.
Yeah, they act.
And it's
That's a good way to put
yeah.
it. It's like
And it's
he's
not just
he's
like, "Oh, I don't like you either," or like that kind of stuff all the time. Yeah.
it's they're both the Tsukomi toward each other. If this was a manzai, so
Oh, okay.
I don't know. It's pretty hard to explain, but if you get it, you get it. They're both
Mhm.
witty and they crack jokes at each other, and it definitely seems more natural because they both have similar personalities rather than like thrusting two opposites toward each other and
And
expecting
and
them
from what
to
I've seen,
match.
it kind of seems like a little bit more relaxed, right? It's not like
Yeah,
one of
this
it's
is
okay. Yeah, it's also not like Toradora where it's like it feels like it has to do the comedy every once in a while. So it has a little bit more of the extreme personalities and like Skomi and stuff like that, right?
they're both like low energy. They're pretty chill toward each other.
Hmm.
So it's pretty relaxing to see two people with the same personality interact with each other.
Hmm.
Like I'm trying not to give too many details because I like well I kind of like this series. I like the way they interact. So their
Hmm.
daily interactions are pretty fun to watch. Like after he gets better, he sees something. It was something like he sees her cooking or whatever.
Okay.
No, no, no. It was because when she helped him, get better after his cold, she saw the state of his room and it was like a complete mess because he lives alone. He's the type of guy who's like, oh, I don't know how to cook. I'll just drink these energy drinks and live off of meal replacement stuff.
Right,
And
right,
then
right.
she saw that
Calorie
she like,
mates or whatever. Yeah.
yeah, energy drinks, and she's like, ugh. So she gives him her leftover food because because of course you gotta make her that she's really good at cooking and whatever. She's like, and he's like, wow, this is pretty good. And then she's like, ugh, I see that you like my food. Here, I'll keep giving it to you. I was like, that's a fun interaction. So she's giving him food, and then he thinks she likes the way that she reacts toward his food, so
Yeah,
she keeps
and
giving it
that's
to
a
her.
pretty classic interaction, I think.
And
Yeah.
then he's like, well, I gotta repay you, so they do some stuff together and whatnot. So it's a pretty natural interaction, I would say. It's not really forced, but I mean,
So my question is, yeah, like I understand the pace, but what about the structure? Is the structure how episodic is it? Do you have like the arcs kind of episodes like or the concepts, right? Of like maybe bath time or like meal or whatever. Do you have them spilling out over like different episodes? Are there mini arcs? What's happening?
so far in the story, it's like the first major event I can talk about is
Yeah.
the Christmas arc, where they gradually get closer and whatnot. They're comfortable with
Mhm.
each other to hang out. Then there's a Christmas arc where he hangs out, where what's his name? Amane hangs out with his friends, and they're like, "Hey, can we come over on Christmas Eve?" And he's like, "Okay." And then he tells my hero that "Hey, my friends are coming over, so just we can't hang out that day." And she's like, "Okay." And then when the friends come over and they see it snowing, it's like, "Oh wow, snow!" They go onto the balcony, and then lo and behold, my hero's there, also on the balcony. And it's like, that's the school angel. How do you live near her? Whatnot. Oh yeah, and before that there was the birthday arc where I gotta repay my hero somehow for hanging out with me and taking care of me and giving me all that food. So I'll give you this birthday present. So that's how they gradually
How
get
long are
closer.
these arcs? Um, on
This is
average,
like
are they?
episode per episode. So
Oh, okay, 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 okay.
so between like 1 and episode 4, which is that's the Christmas episode, I believe. That was 2 months. So this is pretty slow so far.
Okay.
Yeah. Character wise, I mean, I really like the main characters, how they interact. They're similar yet different. Like even though she's a school idol and she's perfect in class, but when she's all by herself in her house, she's pretty relaxed and she's similar to the main character. Not really like
Mm-hmm.
a slob, but she likes to be alone and do whatever she wants. So she doesn't have to put up the front of being the school angel anymore. And then there's the main character who's you know, you're
Wait,
kind of you're
what's her contrast again between like she's like at school she's just like she has to be like the perfect girl,
she's sociable, all that. That's pretty standard stuff. But
but at home what is she like?
she's like I said, she's similar to the MC. She's frank and whatnot. She's
Oh,
not
so she
afraid to
becomes
speak
more
her
curt.
mind.
That's her
Yeah,
contrast. Okay, 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 okay.
but yeah, and then yeah,
Yeah.
like what else?
Anything on audio visuals?
Other than like the two main characters, how they interact, I gotta say the weaker points are like the characters I don't like is kind of the mom, but I get why she has to be this way. Like, was it after the birthday arc? Her mom suddenly his mom suddenly comes in to check on Amane because he lives alone and you gotta have the mom and dad pop up show up sometime. But yeah, the mom, whatever, she's the complete opposite of Amane. She's super bubbly. Like, oh,
Mhm.
this is she accidentally meets by her, and she's like, "Oh, is this your girlfriend?" Blah blah blah. Don't worry, you can call me mom and whatnot. And I'm like, ugh, she's that type of character, huh? The super doting, bubbly mom. But I mean,
Well, again, that's also pretty classic
I
type
get it.
stuff.
So it's so they can move the plot along and have the contrast. It's
Mhm.
super typical mom type, but I kind of didn't like it because it broke up the flow of the show. Right? I like seeing
Oh,
these
you
two
kind of
super
want to kind of see it just within their own world and just kind of properly resolve it out,
yeah, I
right?
like seeing these super
Yeah, yeah.
chill
I
characters like chill and like progress naturally, but I guess you have to do it.
yeah,
And then
yeah,
there's
yeah.
the main character's friend. I don't know what's his name. Itsuki.
Mhm.
He's kind of a the outgoing popular dude. Then his girlfriend Chitose is also like that. She's super genki and tries to be friends with everyone. And those two are like lovey dovey and stuff. So get why I get why those like everyone else in this show is super outgoing and whatnot.
Mhm.
But it kind of ruined the flow for me. But I get why because they have to somehow slowly progress the plot a little more,
Mhm.
even though the main characters themselves are moving the plot like super gradually. They're edging along just a little bit more to have the contrast.
Right, right.
So I mean, while I get it, I don't I don't honestly like it that much because I really like just seeing the two main characters do their own thing, and but I get it. So I'm not
Yeah.
gonna dock too many points off of it. Audio visual wise, don't really have any complaints. The
Yeah,
anime,
it was actually pretty decent. I kind of I was actually pretty impressed at the overall, not like frames or whatever, but necessarily, but it's just like I thought it was a little bit the overall quality, like and at least in the static frames was a little bit better than like what you kind of see sometimes with like diluted diluted kind of artwork just because what I call diluted artwork or like simplified artwork for anime, right? Because they need to draw a lot of the in between frames and they need to draw a lot more of the same stuff in general. But this one was actually I kind of looked into it and the art director was actually Masakazu, who did stuff who did what is it Netuge for I believe Project Number Nine, right? As we stated, he did actually Konosuba, and he did like a couple of other stuff. But he's a pretty big veteran. Oh yeah, he did Prima Doll too. Yeah, so I thought it was kind of interesting that um obviously Project Number Nine does do pretty well overall on these, but it was like still slightly above average. So I thought I kind of look into it, and yeah, the guy running the art direction behind it is pretty big veteran. So.
yeah, no real complaints. Looks good all around. No
Mhm.
quality drops or whatever. Characters look great. Lighting's good, and the opening though is pretty fire.
Pretty good.
If it wasn't for Eimer having a opening in this season, they should. I would put this. I would honestly put this as like my top favorite opening of this season. It's
You're not putting the oh, wait, no, that was last season. Fuck. Okay. But
what deep down? What was it?
no, 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 no.
But yeah, what is it? What is the opening? It's Gift by some guy. I don't know. By what's the name of that guy again? I forgot.
Oishi Masayoshi, he
Yeah, that
also
guy.
did stuff like Imperfect for Gridman. He did or he I think he did both of the Gridman like themes, like related themes, and then he did Hollow Hunger for Overlord season 4 or he did a couple of ones for yeah, I think he did 1, 3, and 4 or 1, 2, and 4 for Overlord seasons, the openings for them, but yeah, he's a pretty prolific
This
anime
dude's got
songwriter.
chops. This dude's
Yeah.
got right in chops. So yeah, listen to it. It's pretty
I
fun.
ain't gonna lie. I'm surprised you didn't pick the Onimai opening because the Onimai opening is the one that has like the full like internet content creator meme, right? It's like what is it? It's sung by Pimaru-sama, right? And the MV, the music video, like the is performed by like Enaka or whatever, right? I thought you were gonna pick that one, to be
Sorry,
honest.
I've never heard of this P-Maru.
Sorry, she lives a secret life, yes. But,
But
yeah,
I mean,
any yeah,
I mean, it's good, but
yeah,
I'm more attached to this funky series.
yeah,
But yeah, what am I gonna rate? I didn't really want to spoil too much of the interactions because they're pretty good.
that's
Like,
fine.
um, what is it? There was that one instance where the dude is like, where was it? The main character said something, or no, the main character's friend said something like, "You're a calm and honest dude, and you're the type to spoil your girlfriend if you ever have one." And then the main character's like, "No, I'm not." Then like the next scene is like, "Hey, you did well on this." Like it was, you did well on something, so I'm gonna give you a present. I was like, "Damn, got you right there." So yeah, I didn't want to spoil too much because I like the interaction. So definitely check this out.
Alright. What would
Uh,
you rate it?
I'll rate it a 9 out of 10. It's in the same vein as like Fufu Ijo. What did
Mhm.
I rate that? Would I rate that an
Didn't you
8?
rate it like a 7 or an 8? Yeah.
I believe I rated an 8. So it's on the same vein, but the character and interactions are way better,
Okay.
and it's a more natural progression of their relationship, even though they're very
Becoming
similar.
10.
So I mean, I'd give it a 10, but I don't like the main character's mom. It's like, get out of here, mom. Get out of here. Don't ruin this. Because the mom was super pushing. He's like, "Oh, my hero, you can call me mom." And is that your girlfriend? And the dude's like, "No, she's not. She's a friend." He's like, "Oh, don't be shy." And I'm like, "Ugh, hate this. Too real, man. Too real."
Alright. Well, okay, thank
But
you
yeah,
very much. Yeah.
so definitely check it out. I want to say it's the best romance anime this season.
Wow. Okay.
But I mean, I've also heard the good things about what is it? The Yuki Ono one, but apparently Spire hated that, right?
I didn't hate it. I just said it was pretty straightforward. It's like it's neither it's not that good, but it's not bad by any means. It's like okay. It's
It's not
very
like it's
vanilla.
not
It's
like
straight what you get.
yeah, it's not
Yeah.
like a
Like you get you
because
order a burger from
it's hard to
McDonald's,
say,
you
right?
know
Like
what
I
you're
would
gonna
say
get.
it's a
Yeah.
it is a good romance like slice of life series, but the problem is that it or like episodic like romance series thing.
Is it
But
because
It
the
like
character
also
but
the
like
we
the
characters are
problem
also
too
is
corny?
it depends on what your bar for calling like a romance series good is, right?
yeah, yeah.
Because it's
This
like
also gets straight into
it's not
the
doing
whole
anything special. Like it's not
yeah.
it's not like introducing like a new or like any sort of like interesting relationship dynamic. It's kind of just like trivia and like slice of life and just more of a guilty pleasure type thing than like something that's like really advancing, like a romance genre.
Trying yeah, trying something new, maybe trying a unique combination of character interactions, whatever. But I think I do want to. I don't mention this too often, although do mention it on occasion. I don't, but what I would like to emphasize to the viewers out there is, and I try to tamper this down, or I've tried to tamper it down recently. I was definitely much harsher in previous years, but when I'm oftentimes rating something and I see that it's not really going out of its way to try something new, or like it's kind of pushing the same like vanilla character developments, but it's not trying to emphasize anything, or it's not really s- giving me a reason to watch this series over other, any other previous series other than the fact that it's new or it's like a series that came out this month instead of 2 years before. If it's not giving me any proper literary reason to read this specific series, um oftentimes I have a little bit more of a bias to mark it down or not mark it as well as I would, a series that would kind of try to go out of its way. Obviously, doing something new carries its own risk, right? You can kind of fumble the ball. You can just not properly, land the ending or whatever it is, whatever phrase, idiom that you want to saying that you want to use. But I would I pretty much as a minimum usually try to look for that something new because again, otherwise there's really not too much reason to watch this series or as opposed to another, previous series. So, it is a bias that I have. Recently, I've rated a lot of series that are kind of straight vanilla, like okay, but previously I would have probably rated them like as, like I would probably put them more on like the 4 or 3 out of 10 kind of placings, but yeah, again, it's you guys have to understand, you guys have to form you guys as the viewers have to form your own opinions and understand that we each as reviewers also have each of our different biases as well. And I just want to be honest about that. So yeah.
Yeah,
Um
it's I'll rate it definitely better than that one, and then also Yamada-kun level 999. It's also kind of quirky
okay.
characters, but yeah, I'll rate it higher than this because I like the main characters are the most realistic this season. I guess they they're curt towards each other, but they don't say dumb things. It's like, oh, I hate when you do this or whatever, like you see
Okay.
in usual rom coms. So they're pretty.
Yeah.
It's a pretty natural
Like
friendship, I should say.
I'd never go out with you or whatever, like that sort of stuff.
Yeah, they're like, "Oh, you're not my type." And he's like, "Well, you're." Well, the dude was like, or the chick was like the dude said something like, "Oh, well, why is it that you're so natural around me?" And then the chick was like, "Well, that's because I know I'm not your type." And he's like, "Damn, I guess that's true." I just do stuff. Yeah, so
Nice.
that kind of interaction is pretty cool. But yeah, definitely
Alright.
check this out. Highly recommend it. 9 out of 10.
Alright. Pretty good. Thank you very much, Toast. And again, this was Angel Next Door. The Angel Next Door Spoils Me Rotten, done by Project Number 9. I believe it is a manga original.
No,
Um,
it's a
it,
light novel, a very
it's a light
popular
novel
light
original.
novel.
I
Yeah.
apologize. Yes, yes, yes. Pretty popular light novel original. Japanese name. お隣の天使様にいつの間にか、何かダメ人間にされたいとか。Also known as お隣の天使様 for short. And please do check it out.
I am
Next.
so gotta say I'm so good at pointing out if a series is good or not to me. Because I saw this series like, wait a minute, this doesn't look half bad, and guess what? I was right.
Yeah, my nose for that has become much worse recently. Although obviously it was it was not exactly cracking 800 or 750 or anything batting average to begin with. But
Spire, you just gotta watch enough isekai to know when something is bad. And then
I,
you'll be like,
I
hey,
think
wait,
I've
this
watched
is kind of good.
more isekai than I would ever want to in a lifetime. But anyways,